Morning, everybody. We're a little bit past time, but I call to order the Saline County Commission Public Forum and Meeting for July 26, 2016 to order. I'd ask everybody to join me in a flag salute in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Will the clerk call the roll?
Commissioner Shadwick?
Here.
Commissioner Gile?
Here.
Commissioner Price? We got absent. Commissioner Larson?
Here.
And Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Thank you.
We'll move now to the public forum where citizens may speak on county government, usually limited to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to come forward at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to regular business. Item number 1.
It's approval of the agenda for the public forum as presented today.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve today's agenda for the public forum as presented.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Item number 2.
Approval of county commission minutes for July 19, 2016.
I move that we accept the county commission minutes for July the 19th, 2016 as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Item number 3.
We have a request for action 185-16, the Kansas Department of Corrections FY17 Behavioral Health Revised Budget. Have Annie Grievous here, Community Corrections Director.
Good morning.
Morning. I almost forgot it was me that was going to speak. I was going to let Jason talk. I'm here because, and I'm not happy, but it is what it is. We applied for the behavioral health funds. It's a grant that we get to apply for every year. There's $3 million statewide. It's for services for mental illness, substance abuse, and it's a great product and a great way to service clients. I do have 3 staff out of it, so I do reap the benefits of 3 staff in this grant. 1 we contract through CKF, and 2 I have in-house, and I need to be gracious because very gracious, they fund my staff first. But because of the results of the way the state funding came in, there were $3 million statewide, $2.8 million across the state of Kansas went to salary and benefits for people in the departments. So that left $200,000 for voucher funds. Voucher funds are how we use dollars to service those mentally ill and substance abuse clients. So I got $20,000. Community Corrections got $20,000 in voucher funds. That's a piddling. It's going to last us maybe 5 months, and I'm projecting, we're watching it very closely. I have other funds. I'm not going to sit here and build this dire need. You know me, I'm going to go out and find the funds. I've got it. But this is such a great avenue. I always anticipate more and want more from this grant. But I want to say, in saying that, thank goodness the state values people and values their salary and benefits first and covered that first. So that was that. As a result of that reduction in our request, we had to redo our budget. So it's just as simple as we went in and took out service dollars where we felt like we could go without and get somewhere else, and kept them in the areas where we thought we needed them. And the areas we need them are in detox and inpatient beds. And so that's what we covered. So all that money will go in there. But as a result, I just need permission to submit the new revised budget. It has been in front of the board, and they approved it and signed it last week. And so I need the board chair here, County Commission, to sign and approve the revised budget.
Well, I see one of our alternatives is to deny, and that'd be hard to do, wouldn't it?
You want to deny that?
No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
You know, I never even go through that form because I never want to talk to you about denying anything I
know,
ask.
I'm just. All right, questions? Please, Commissioner Guile, go ahead.
The increase in that then, Annie, is what?
It's a decrease. It's a decrease. We requested,
okay.
we requested 250, I'm sorry, I should have said this, $250,764.56, and we got $203,954.56, a reduction of almost $47,000.
Right. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I
Really?
read too.
That's a sad,
That's
sad
what I read,
statement. I'm
too.
sorry.
All right. I don't have any problem with that. We're going to approve a $203,000 budget then. Is
Correct.
that what you're asking?
That would be correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure that was right.
Yes.
Further questions? Public comment? Bring it back to commission for action.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve RFA 185-16, the KDOC fiscal year 17 behavioral health revised budget for $203,954.56 as submitted by staff.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Item number 4.
This is RFA 186-16, the Kansas Department of Corrections FY16 Juvenile Service Budget Line Item Transfer, and again, staff comments by Annie Grievous.
Thank you. This is an annual thing. End of year, you look about what you have left over because you've budgeted. You know, you have no clue what the year is going to bring, but you put in where you think it might fit over trends and looking at what we had. We really expected when we put it in, we expect to expend it, but we didn't in certain line items. But we did overexpend, or not overexpend, but expend in other line items. So this is a simple process of us transferring from one line item to another. It's not new dollars. It's not a change in our last year's budget. It just allows us to move from one line item to another so that we can cover all our expenses. And they let you encumber that money every year. We've already spoke with DOC. They've already given us the nod that this is fine and they're all appropriate encumbers, but we need board approval and county commission approval to send it in. So if you go through the request, it's outlined very clearly, and Rosie Walter, who does this request and also our budget, makes it simple for me to explain to you. But if you have questions I don't know how to answer, she's here, but it's not going to happen. I won't let that happen. Okay, so from intake and assessment, we're moving from contractual to communication, $240.06. From intake and assessment, contractual to supplies, $142.47. From our case management kids, those out-of-home placements, contractual to salary, $1,393.40. From case management, contractual to training, $74.63. From intensive supervision, contractual to salary, $16,425. From intake or juvenile intensive supervision, contractual to salary, $669. And from juvenile intensive supervision, contractual to communication, $5.11. That comes to a grand total of $18,949.67 that I'm asking that we allow to encumber and move over from one line item to another to finish out our year on the juvenile side. This is not adult services, it's only juvenile services.
Annie, my question is, when you take money out of some of those contractual departments, does that inhibit that budget?
No, because this is the end of the year. We've already expended everything we needed in those line items. There's leftover dollars in those
And
line
you don't
items.
wipe them out?
No.
You won't wipe them out? You just
Right.
take?
We're moving them from another line item where we did expend and needed more dollars in that to finish out our year.
Okay.
So
All right.
we're copus on our budget at the end of the year. So we have everything lined out and evened out.
Okay, so then does this help you budget for the next year when you realize some of these?
Yeah, when we look at this, it helps us go back in and say, oh, you know, we put too much in training, or we put too much in contractual for something. So we'll look back and we'll pull it back out.
Okay,
But
okay.
with the new law coming in January, anything can happen. And we could be very likely in front of you next year at this time saying, oh, you know what? We need to do this. And so it's likely that, I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years. Rosie's been here a long time too. So I think we do a good job with that, but things happen. We lost some staff. We changed staff. They cost less or they cost more. Those things happen and you can't project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really, these are pretty minor numbers for
Very minor.
considering the whole
Right.
budget.
So I appreciate you saying that because you would see that we do a good job. It's $19,000 out of a whole course of $1 million almost. You're talking a piddling.
Right.
Very minor.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And there's no change in our budget either.
No, this doesn't impact the
Absolutely.
county budget at
Nope.
all, and it doesn't even impact the Saline County Community Corrections budget in any manner. It's just moving from one line item to another.
Very well.
If all budgeters got that close on their budget, we'd do a lot better.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And kudos to Rosie. I don't want to take all the credit. Kudos to Rosie.
Public comment on this. Bring it back to the commission for action.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve to move the requested dollars within the KDOC FY16 Juvenile Service Funds to cover the cost within each line item as requested by staff.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Item number 5.
This is Resolution 16-2201, the Saline County Health Department Advisory Council member reappointments. Have staff comments by Jason Tiller, Health Department Director.
Good morning again,
Commissioners,
Jason.
again. So last year, when we stood up the Health Department Advisory Council, we staggered the terms of the council members. And at this time, the first term of 2 of those council members are up, and they have both demonstrated a willingness to serve. And their second term will be the 3-year term as outlined in the bylaws from August 1st, 2016 to July 31st, 2019. Recommend that you approve it, and there's no budget impact.
These are three-year terms
They are.
for each. Mhm.
And both members have been attending.
Yes, they have.
All right. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution 16-2201, Saline County Health Department Advisory Council member appointments for Amanda Michaelis and Gwenda Philbrook to the Saline County Department Advisory Council for a term of 3 years starting August 1st and ending of this year and ending July 31st of 2019.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Item number 6.
RFA 182-16 for home health care rates. And again, Jason Tiller, Health Department Director.
During our last audit that's done annually, the last one was completed in May 2016, the auditor had recommended that our charge rates be raised from $140 for skilled nursing, physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy from $140 to $150, and that the home health aid rate of $80 stay the same. So we are asking this morning that we be able to implement those suggested increases. And just based on our June statistics of 319 visits for those 4 categories combined, there's a potential for an increase in revenue of $38,000 a year.
Only question I have is on this there sheet behind that, why it says bill cost plus 150%. What does that mean?
That is, I believe it's standard notation for the,
Is that for your drugs or medications?
no,
Medical?
for the supplies, so
Oh,
like the
okay.
dressing, for doing the wound care, dressing changes, the disposable supplies that are used in the course of patient care, because that's not always covered on
Okay.
the,
It sounds like an awful high rate, but I was just trying to figure that out.
Further questions? Public comment. Action?
Mr. Chair, I move that we increase the charge rates, RFA 182-16, home health care rates, from $140 to $150 for physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and skilled nursing visits, as recommended by the auditor.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Item number 7.
Kansas Department of Health and Environment grant contracts, and again with Jason Tiller.
last one. So we discussed last week, these are the contracts that need to be signed for our standard grants that we have each year. There is one change that we were given just, I believe it was on Friday, to the special health care needs. I have the updated one here, which changed the amount from $5,750 to $6,864 for the grant amount. which also included, when they reviewed it and then sent it back to us, a indirect cost match from the county for $1,802.49. And that match wasn't in the original one.
And you gave us an update of this last week. Are there any further questions or comments by commissioners?
This is several features here, right, that we're supposed to approve. Ryan White.
Yeah,
Right, there's the universal contract,
Modernization.
the Ryan White Treatment Modernization at contract, the maternal and child health contract, well, contract attachments, family planning contract attachment, and then the contract for supports for children and youth with special health care needs.
I guess under under the Ryan White, what we agree to, I tried to read that out, and both parties agree in number 30. It relates to, we agree to treat same-sex spouses, marriages, households, same as opposite-sex spouses. How does that impact what we're doing?
I don't follow it. How does it impact?
Well,
In what way?
what are the potential ways we wouldn't do that or would?
Well, basically, it's just referring to, we can't discriminate based off of their, whether they're heterosexual, homosexual, or,
And how does that enter into what we're doing, though?
Are you saying
I-
it shouldn't be part of the contract?
Well, I'm just saying, what's the point of that agreement in what we're doing?
Are you asking if we provide services that would apply to that? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well,
but I mean, that's a Department of Health and Human Services requirement. I mean, there's nothing that, as far as that part of it being in there, that we can change
I
or do about
understand,
that.
that's
So,
they're putting that on us. But
I
how
mean, really,
does-
it doesn't
how does what
impact
we
anything
do-
on how we do.
how does what we do provide the opportunity to discriminate in that way?
Well, we don't discriminate, and if somebody came in and divulges their sexual preference, it wouldn't matter as far as the provision of services.
Well, I just didn't think we got into the marriage counseling issues or the marriage issues, but it's a non-issue, I guess, from what I'm hearing you say.
It doesn't
Is-
impact our services to
No,
to
it does-
people, is I think
no.
his point is. Okay.
Is this any different than it was before? This number 30, is that any different than it has been in the past? Have we had this contract before with the
We've
Ryan
had
White?
this contract before.
That's what I thought. I thought
I
it
mean,
was,
we've had this contract for many years.
has it ever, is this number 30 a different?
Off the top of my head, I don't
You
know.
don't know, and I don't know either.
I don't recall if
Because
it-
I can remember we signed this
Yeah.
before.
And HHS writes the contract. We don't write the contract, correct?
Well, it comes from KDHE, but it starts at the federal, and they give them the requirements, and then the states then just adapt it with their letterhead down to the county level for the local.
I guess the only thing that is knowing whether it was new or not, that'd be the only thing today.
Is there any public comment on this action?
Since you decided to, Ray Ruska, 235 North South May, you decided to discuss this issue, and Mr. Smith brought this up. Is that contract in the packet? that you're talking about? I haven't seen that yet. I'm just curious about
It
what
is.
is there, what is not there.
Did you get the agenda?
Yeah, I did, but
was
is
in
it
the
in
agenda.
there?
It's in the yeah.
It was all in the agenda.
You're saying it's on number 30, is that what you said?
Yeah, on page.
The title of it is Contract
Page 4.
Attachment Number 30, or 33, I'm sorry.
Page 4.
Yeah, page 4 of 4.
But Commissioner Gall mentioned it as item 30. Is that what you were referencing?
That's what he was referencing.
Are
Yeah.
you, Smith?
Yeah, and I was just asking if it was, if there'd been any changes in it since the last time that was on the contract last year.
And to clarify the point, Mr. Smith, can you explain to me the question again so I understand it a little better?
Well, it seemed like this granting special consideration for same-sex marriage is kind of interwoven into everything we look at anymore, and this is one of them. I don't know why it's added, but it is at the federal level, I'm sure. And I would hate to think that our health department is promoting that lifestyle.
And I agree with that. It also says something about Social Security Act, and it references several sections of that. What does the Social Security Act have to do with this? Is there any issue with that? Social Security is, in grants programs with approved deviations. I mean, it's like a moving target, it looks like to me.
Okay.
But I just thought I'd bring that up because I didn't understand what was talking about on item 30.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bring it back to the commission for further discussion or action.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we sign the KDHE Aid to Local Program Universal Contract and the following attachments: Contract number 33, Contract Attachment number 17, and Contract Attachment number 5, and Youth with Special Health Care Needs as provided by staff.
I will second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Is there any other business that needs to come before the commission today? Under announcements, I would just like to say we'll meet briefly upstairs for 5 minutes to work on next week's agenda. Commissioner Guile, one of your passions is lead sled. You want to say anything about that this weekend?
Oh, yeah. Everybody that likes them old lead sleds, there are going to be a lot of them in town here starting tomorrow. Matter of fact, I think they have an auction tomorrow out at the old Solano Auto Auction out on Centennial Road. And I think that it's open. I think it's an open auction. And then every day after there, I guess I haven't kept up with it, but there's something going on all the way through Sunday. So
It's a great event for
Great
Saline,
event.
Saline
It looks like
County,
the
and
weather-
the area.
looks like the weather's going to be absolutely perfect.
Very good. Another announcement?
I quote from John Adams again. As the safety and prosperity of our nations ultimately and essentially depend on the protection and blessing of Almighty God, and the national acknowledgement of this truth is an indispensable duty which people owe to him. John Adams.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. We are adjourned. Excuse me.